got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it all.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. I got a special guest with me today. He's been here before. So you know what we do here? We usually give people a platform to tell their story, their experience, and hopefully it'll help somebody. But the story is just part of it, right? I like to bring people back to kind of catch up, see what they got going on. So how long? It's been, what, a couple months now since we last spoke. So why don't you just introduce yourself, tell the people your name, and what you've been up to ever since, man.
So my name is Matthew Tottenham. I got the W Number podcast, obviously. Well, not obviously for
For the people
some
that
people
don't
that do know, you know. But I've been doing a lot since then, man. I've had a couple of big videos. I got monetized, so now I get the AdSense and all that stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm just living a normal life like everybody else, you know.
There you go.
And what I'm trying to focus on now is just, trying to like reach out, kind of help people, let people tell their stories kind of in a therapeutic manner, because I had the mother of Michael Pina, who I just got murdered, and I had the kid who killed him on my channel, so I interviewed the murderer and then I interviewed the mother of the murder victim. So it was kind of like a crazy dynamic there, you know what I mean? Talking to her about that stuff, it was just like, whew, because I know the whole story.
Yeah.
I've talked to the kid who actually did it. He ended up getting 12 years and, is free now. And, he was on my channel and like, dude, it's just a crazy
Right.
dynamic. So later on, I'll be live with her too at 7. So,
Okay,
I'll
so
be
let's
out
talk
time.
about that. A lot of times, coming from where we come from, we did time in prison, we're usually with the people who are alleged to have done these crimes, right? What was it like to get a different perspective, to get someone on the victim side? Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
You know what's crazy? I was just talking about that like 2 days ago with mathematics, and I was like, it's not, you don't always get to hear the victim's side because, you're in prison, you're with the assailants or the people who do the crimes rather than the people who are, feeling the impact of those crimes. And it's just it's an eye-opening experience. It showed me a lot of things. Like, so everybody, people are affected by these crimes in so many different ways. Like, it's not just like, okay, bang, you kill him, this guy's in prison, and however he's living is, the outcome. There's a whole trail of victims behind it.
It's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
It affects multiple people's
Right.
lives.
And she lost an awesome son. I watched the videos of him dancing and stuff like that. And I swear every time when I was editing the video and I had to go past that part, I swear I cried, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, it's sad, dude. Really, really sad because the kid was vibrant, intelligent, he was an organ donor by 18. You know what I mean? Like, he was the type of kid that just wanted to help everybody else around him, loved his mother, and she had a daughter drowned in the bathtub at 11 months old.
Wow.
So for her to pull him in, that was her saving grace, and she was his everything, that was his mom. And it's just to see the effect it would have. Imagine having 2 kids die. Imagine having one kid die.
No, it's a lot
To have another kid die right after.
How did this come about? How did this come into fruition here with the mom coming on?
Yeah, so I met obviously Jonathan when I was on when he did the video with me. The mother watched the video and reached out. She left a comment in the comment section like, "Thank you so much. This means so much to me that you did this video." She talks to Jonathan still today. Like, they're friends, you know what I mean? And for a woman to be able to not only forgive the person who killed her son, but to remain in the person's life as a positive influence and support, it just goes to show what type of person she really is. Yeah. She's a strong, amazing, beautiful person, and the worst types of things can happen to the best types of people. Fate does not pick and choose, you know what I mean? And so she reached out to me, and I was like, you know what? I left her a comment back, like, you know what? That's the best thing that I could have ever hoped for, is to have that happen. Like, somebody who was, truly affected, and like the person who lost their son, and like I'm talking to the person, like her son's killer, and she's like thanking me for this. Wow. And it was just awesome.
Is that eye-opening? Does that kind of make you feel like what you're doing is purposeful, and why?
I knew that it was the right thing to do. Not only when I was doing it, because I wasn't interviewing the kid on some like, oh, I think it's cool you killed this kid, bro. You're a gangster. I was interviewing him kind of like, he was already expressing his, he had felt bad about it.
Remorse.
Yeah, he was sincerely remorseful. I could tell he was. If he wasn't, I wouldn't have put him on my channel. But he wanted to do this for her too, because she needed closure as much as he did. You know what I mean? They weren't able to get these details out there between each other. Because like, what do? You used to be like, hey, this is how it happened. Right. You know what I mean? To the mom, no. So she watched the video and was able to get those little details that she didn't have before, and get some closure for it. And he was able to, find that true forgiveness from her. And man, that shit touched my heart, dude.
So let's bring it back a little bit. What made you decide to start your channel, the W Number Podcast?
Honestly, remember, I made a mistake. It was a mistake. All started because of a mistake. But I think it was more fate than mistake, you know? Like, God had intended for this to all happen. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just a mistake. It was more of a happy accident. And I pressed the little plus sign at the bottom of the screen, and it was like upload a video. It looked like almost like Instagram or Facebook kind of. And I'm like, what is this? And when I pressed the back, it was like YouTube. I'm like, wait a second. I'm looking for the button to get back there. I couldn't even find it. And then I was like, I pressed it again, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, hold on. I could just be anybody and upload onto YouTube. I don't have to have like a studio or a professional platform or sponsors or anything. I could just press this little plus sign, and whatever videos are on my phone, I could put them on YouTube. Then I'm like, I want to make some type of impact. My stories, a deep stories. It's not typical of every American, you know what I mean? But it is a story that a lot of people can relate to, especially nowadays. So I figured I would put my story out there and see if I could, reach people wherever they are without judgment. They could watch my videos and not have anybody over their back. Like, what are you watching that for? Like, what, you know what I mean? You support that type of thing. They could watch in the privacy of their own home and have their own feelings and their own emotions about it, and leave anonymous comments or just a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever the hell they want, you know? And that's really just why I wanted to do it. I just wanted to, give people the experience that I had without having to go through it themselves.
What's been your favorite part about doing this? I know it's been some ups and downs, and it's like a little rush when the views start to go up, but is it that, or is it more so the impact that you're having with people, like having the victim's mom on your podcast, or even the other people that you've had?
Oh, it's definitely more the message than it is about the views. Because if it was about the views, man, look, I've had some videos recently that just don't go anywhere, barely. I mean, like 100, 200 views. Like, it really is discouraging sometimes. Like, I do get those times where I'm like, why am I even doing this? You know? But then there's the people that watch it, the ones that do end up watching these other videos, like the lower view count ones. They get so much more out of it, dude. It's because those videos are extremely meaningful. And so those small amount of people that watch it and are like, man, I really need this today, dude. Like, this is exactly what I needed right now. And man, if I could even find one person and that's not even just fronting, like, I really think, like, man, that one person that left that comment like, man, bro, oh man, this is like everything I needed today, bro. That's really what I do it for, bro. I don't really care. The view's great. You know, anybody, I have that one that's hitting 69,000 right now. But it's like, I don't really feel much about it, dude.
Yeah.
I don't really, it's not like, oh my God, 69,000. It's like, I really don't feel much about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's cool, but it's almost like, why I get more mad that some of the other ones don't go, you know what I mean? Because there's better, not better, sorry. It's a great video.
Right, but so much more goes into how
every,
well a video does. Between the thumbnail, the time of day, so many factors go into it. Like I always say, if I knew exactly how to do it, they'd all go viral. But let's talk about the 23-and-1 interview. For those that don't know, Lockdown 23-and-1. Prison genre channel, pretty much like the Godfather, the OG of it, man. Probably the biggest channel out there, biggest impact out there at least. Been doing it for a long time. How did that come into play, man?
So I had left a few comments on his thing, like basically baiting him, you know what I mean? Like I was just like, yo, you know, like I did with you. Remember?
You gotta have me on there.
Right. You ain't ready for me, like, you know. I was just doing that kind of, and he had left a message on his community tab. I think was like, you know, if you have a story or whatever, DM me or hit me up or something like that. And I told him just the outline of my story, and he was like, well, you sound perfect, you know. And so I was like, okay, you know, and you know, obviously, you know, if you know him and you know like the standards of his channel, I felt like it was pretty cool because not everybody gets to be on a platform that large, you know what I mean? And, you know, obviously there's the people that are like, you know, you're a lion, right? Because they just can't believe somebody actually went through the things that I went through. And, you know, if I didn't go through them myself, I'd probably think I'm lying because it's just so, some of the things are just so unbelievable, bro.
Why is it important to tell your story as many times as you do? You came, you told it to me, and then you went. And I've been seeing you at other places. You were on 23-and-1. So why is it important to keep getting this story out there and the message?
I think that because there is going to be somebody that I reach, right? Like, everything happens for a reason. Somebody's going to watch these videos. The more exposure that the story has, the better chance I have of reaching that one person that needs to hear it, or, you know, 20 people or whoever, you know what I mean? It could be 1 million people, but as long as I reach that person, whoever they are, wherever they are, the more exposure I have for that story, the better chance I have of doing it. Also, because I want to bring people to my channel, you know what I mean? I want to bring people into my movement, you know, basically. It is more of a movement than it is anything, you know what I mean? Because it's more of a message than it is like a basic channel with just like stories on it, you know what I mean? There's so much more behind it. Like there's a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. Every single person I've had on my show has been through incredible suffering, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like Debbie Downer every episode, you know what I mean? But I think it's important that people that go through things like that get, you know, they have that feeling of gratification that they got to tell their story, bro. Yeah,
you know,
exactly,
a lot of times people just want to be heard, man. They've been voiceless for so long and shut down for so long. It's good for people to hear your story and really humanize people, whereas they might normally get judged by a piece of paper or a few pieces of paper with a list of probably their worst mistakes in their life, and not really seeing the human side of it. So I think that's part of the reason why I think it is so important to have people tell their stories and share their stories on platforms like ours. But as far as the YouTube side of it, the technology side, the record and everything like that, talk about what challenges you have faced as far as that goes, the learning experience.
Oh man, I mean, I've had videos where I don't catch the video, just the audio. So I just put a picture on and let it go. And I actually got 1,000 views and wanted to like point to it. But it's like, I feel like it depends on the actual conversation and the quality of the conversation. But it also depends on chance, man, and the algorithm, bro. Like, I feel like a lot of the videos that could do very, very good don't hit the algorithm maybe. And so that's why they don't get as much views. But the challenge is staying in the algorithm. I feel like that's the biggest challenge, is staying.
What's something that, you know, if you could go back and tell yourself now, knowing everything that you know, experience and everything you've experienced as far as doing this, what's something you would tell yourself then, or something you wish you knew when you first started?
I wish I knew about StreamYard and lives, the connection that you can make through lives, right?
Okay.
I think lives are extremely important, and I didn't do them for like until I got monetized. Literally, I didn't do one until I got monetized. And the night I got monetized, I did the 1K celebration.
So
thing.
why did you find that these lives are important? Did something stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean,
excuse me, talk a little bit about that.
So I just I had a different type of joy in doing it. You know what I mean? Like I felt good. I wasn't so like when I'm making my videos, like even when I'm like, they're not gonna be live, and you get a chance to edit them and stuff like that. But I still have like this weird nervous feeling when I do it. And I do before the lives too. But once the live gets going, and like I feel my juices flowing, and it's just like it's fun, bro. Yeah. And like the people are conversing with you in the comment section, and you know you get to talk to them directly, you know, and they know that everything you're saying is raw and real. Like you're not editing nothing out. So they can see who you really are, you know what I mean, through a live, almost better than they can see through a video, because they know that you're not taking anything out of it or away from it. So I think that it's really just cool to like get that experience, and I think that I should have started doing that, you know, maybe sooner. But you know, I'm starting to do it now, and I can't wait for the one tonight, dude. I think it's gonna be great.
So talk a little bit about the process of how you get your guests and how it goes from there to actually, you know, recording it, editing it, and putting it out.
So if anybody has a story to tell, they want to put them up on my platform, you know, my guests, like the ones like the videos I have with guests always get at least decent views, you know what I mean? So it's not like the ones I just make myself sometimes that don't go too well. But
yeah, they reach out to you? Do you reach out to certain people?
Oh yeah, I mean like that's so they reach out through DMs and things like that. But I track a lot of them down. Okay. You know what I mean? So if like I hear people have stories, I'm gonna go after it, because you know I feel like that's part of the job, and if I don't put in the groundwork or the footwork, I don't deserve it. You know what I mean? So finding those stories, the ones that are important, that's like it's almost like the chase, dude. You know, like I'm addicted to drugs, so like now that I don't have that, and now I'm just addicted to finding stories that matter, dude. You know what I mean? So that's the chase right there.
So what are your short-term goals as far as your channel right now? You hit the the 1,000 subscribers, right? Yeah.
So my short-term goal is to build up the so I remember I told you I had to reset the algorithm a little bit. I had emailed them and they actually did it for me. So I'm it almost like was like starting from scratch, dude. And I realized, you know, it's really hard building almost back up all over again. But you know, some people do know about me already, so it's hard. Right. But my short-term goal is to just keep pumping videos every 2 to 3 days, so that way I can get, you know, re-recognized and just have it go back up to where it was. So it was like, you know, every video over 1,000, things like that, where people know when they see one of my videos, it's going to be quality. So the goal is to continue to make quality videos with quality content, and every 2 to 3 days, and then keep the lives in between. I want to do at least 3 lives a month, if not 4. So at least 1 a week and 3 videos a week. So that's my goal, is 3 videos a week, 1 live a week. Nice. And then after I hit about, like, I think when I hit 100 lives, I'm gonna rethink my operation, and you know, that's obviously 100 weeks from now.
Do you have a certain way you schedule these things, or do you just
so I think
as soon as possible?
Yeah, my fault.
Go ahead.
Wednesday night, I think I'm gonna start doing my lives either Tuesday and Wednesday night, right? And then the other like meetings, like where I have guests and stuff like that, we do like a sit down video, and the one that I edit and stuff like that. Like, I use the studio at the Central Library at 700 Boylston Street. So whatever somebody wants to get scheduled in, they just let me know at least 2 days in advance, 3 days in advance, which I would much like a lot more, notice. But if it comes down to it, man, I want to get people in there. You know what I mean? So I don't overthink it. You know what I mean? If you reach out, I think that you have a story. The soonest you can get in there, if I have an opening, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So what are some things that you've been able to do because of this podcast? Maybe circles you found yourself in that you would never think, or stuff man. Like that, man.
So like I just did a music video with Mathematics.
Okay.
Everyday recovering. That one's gonna drop on the 21st of August, which is Fentanyl Awareness Day. Mm-hmm. So it's a recovery song, so Fentanyl Awareness Day makes sense, right? Nice. It should be good for the drop, especially around here where the recovery community is gigantic, and it means a lot because people are dying. Literally the other night, I had to witness somebody die and not come back,
Wow.
So yeah.
What are your thoughts when you hear about, or I mean when you see something like that? Like what's going through your head? You feel bad but kind of grateful that, you're not struggling like that anymore?
I don't think anything about myself usually when it comes to something like that. I just think about the other person doing, really. I have a hard time, thinking about what I should be grateful for when someone's dying, dude. You know what I mean? Because I just don't, I feel like it might be wrong kind of to me. I don't know. I feel weird about that type of thing because I've just seen so many people die, But I just wish the best for their families, dude. Like, I mean,
what advice would you give to somebody struggling with addiction, man? You seem to
get out
better
soon. Get out right now, because it could be the next bag that kills you, bro. Every single one of these things is bad, dude. Like the drugs are not they're experimental, bro. The way I see people acting out there, it is not normal, dude. It's not like when I was getting high, like people didn't take off all their clothes and run down the street screaming, dude. I don't know what that is, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not like people that are mentally ill that this is happening to. This is happening to people I know and are normal, and they get high on this, whatever it is, dude, and are just all of a sudden insane, dude. Like, it's experiments. Like, I really believe China, whoever's making this drug it's just, there's something that's not normal about it, dude. It's not like normal drugs, bro. It's all pharmaceutical or chemical. Even if it wasn't, it's deadly. It will kill you. It will ruin your life. It'll take your soul. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What would you say has been your biggest reason for staying sober?
My freedom, number one, is my biggest reason. Because if I do anything, I get a life sentence.
Freedom,
you know what I mean? I have one waiting for me at all times.
So that'll keep you in line. What's been the biggest help as far as staying sober? We can't do it alone, right?
Yeah, I go to meetings every night, pretty much. I mean, I have been busy lately. I'm going to school. August 26th, I start post-university for social media studies.
Nice.
And then I'm doing ATR. So I'm going to learn some things it's like career training and stuff like that.
Let's talk about the school, right?
Yeah.
What made you make that decision? How did that decision come about?
So I was going to go to Full Sail University for broadcasting, but because of my record, they shot me down, dude. The day I was supposed to start, they told me no because of my record. So I was pissed. Not gonna lie, I was pissed. I'm like, so I'm not good enough to get an education in your prestigious school. Like, I never even heard of you before, bro. You know what I mean? Full Sail University,
right.
bro. Like,
too good for me.
Get a life, dude. Right? So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let that stop me. I'm finding a school that'll take me that's better than that school. And Post is way better. You know what I mean? They're a lot better. So I'm gonna hit Post and do this social media thing, and learn the trends of social media, how to maintain a social media presence, all those things.
So what was your main reason for doing the school? Was it to gain specific knowledge? Was it maybe to pursue a career later, a job in that
Yeah.
field? Like, why don't you talk about that? You're just trying to learn the field as much as you can.
Yeah, so I wanna, yeah, exactly. I wanna learn. You know, this is my job now. I'm taking it extremely seriously, and I want to make this my living. You know what I mean? So if I'm gonna do that, I gotta know everything about it. So I'm willing to pay the student loans. I'm willing to do the work because at the end of the day, I will know much more about what's going on in this field. So
What are you looking forward to the most as far as school? Is it the learning or what?
I never got to go to high school, so I got kicked out of school when I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
And I spent my entire teenage years in DYS. So I think the biggest thing is just experiencing, you know, school, like elevating my conscious, like, you know, elevating my knowledge, and just, you know, being involved in some things that are just, you know, like you said, the circle that I've surrounded myself with now is like, you know, I got like famous rappers, you know, people that are actually doing things with their lives, dude. Like,
Is that inspirational?
Hell yeah, man. You know, it's good to
have.
have these connections too. Like, you know, we're all gonna do something really amazing. You know what I mean? So to be involved in a movement like this, even just like Miz, like his rapping thing, like, you know, Mark Brown, by the way, yeah, just all these people, man. Like, we are all from Mass. We've all been upstate. We have all done time, and have, you know, a lot of us have been addicted. I know, like you and Miz, and having put me, mathematics, exit fame. All these guys, they've been in the struggle and addiction on Mass Ave and struggling heavily, and now have turned their life around and are completely on the other side of the fence, dude. You know.
So, when was the last time you did any sort of schooling? Did you get your GED?
Yeah, I got my GED. I went to school. I became a paralegal when I was in prison.
Okay.
So I got my paralegal certificate. I got a diploma in civil litigation, Blackstone Career Institute. Nice. And I've always liked learning, dude. You know what I mean? And when I was in prison, I was doing the paralegal thing so I could help improve conditions inside the prison. And so
what is it about learning that you like the most?
It keeps my brain sharp. It enhances my ability to even have conversations with people, because if you know my story, like, I did a lot of time in isolation, and social awkwardness becomes like a big thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to be around people. So being able to, you know, to have a vocabulary and just understand things that are going on around me without actually having to go through them, because I've only experienced pretty much one thing in my life, and that's prison. And, you know, solitary confinement and violence. So being able to experience, you know, life through the lens of a book, or, you know, through the contact with other people that are in this, you know, going to school and learning with me. Their stories and experiences, I get to attach onto that kind of, you know what I mean?
What are you looking forward to the most as far as school? Is it just finishing? Is it the process?
I feel like I'd be really proud of myself if I got a bachelor's degree or even further, you know what I mean? And if I was able to use it to further my career, would be even greater, you know what I mean? So just being able to make my mom proud would be awesome.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing, bro. So, talked a little bit about short-term goals. Let's talk about maybe 5 years from now, right? Everything goes according to plan. Everything happens the way that you want it to happen. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In Tortola, living in a mansion. No, I'm just joking.
As far as whatever, just everything, man.
Bachelor's degree. You know, I'm hoping to have at least 5,000 subscribers on my channel, and my videos are doing great. You know, I mean, I would like to get to the point where I put my videos out and not have to worry about whether the title is good enough for someone to click on it or not. Just the fact that it has my brand on it would be enough, because I know that's kind of like where the stage is where you're at right now, and I think it's great, man. I just love watching your videos, and I like seeing everybody else that's doing good around me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
same, man, and I love seeing. One thing that definitely stood out about you is your work ethic, your consistency, man. You keep doing it. You're not just a talker, you're a doer, and that stands out a lot, bro.
Yeah.
That stands out a lot. I mean, you should be proud of that. Is that something you're proud of? Your work ethic? Is it something that always been something to work towards?
I'm a perfectionist, so I'm never proud of anything, dude. I'm always critiquing myself and thinking I could do better. But when it comes down to it, I think that, I should be proud of myself.
Yeah, I think you should, man. And I think you came a long way pretty quickly. So if you got any advice for anybody starting, say someone wants to start a YouTube channel today, why don't you give them some advice?
Hit me up. We'll do some editing together. I'll show you the ropes, because if the editing is the hardest part, but I wouldn't say that's the hardest part. The hardest part is not being nervous enough to take the risks that you might fail. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna have bumps in the road, but if you have enough courage inside you to do those things that aren't typically like gimmies, something that is gonna succeed, you know what I mean? Like, you might fail, but you might not.
Hey, you miss every shot you don't take, man. And I appreciate you coming back, man. If there was any last words, or just tell the people who may not know how to find you on social media, YouTube, and all of that, man.
So on Instagram, it's Matthew MATTHEW _ Tottenham TOTTENHAM, or Facebook's MT Head. I think you could find both of those platforms through MT Head, like the letter MT, then space head, HED. Just HED, empty head, like empty.
I got you. Like, clink, clink.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then on YouTube, it's the W Number Podcast. So and then W dash and the word number.
Okay. So talk about that name before I let you go. Why'd you decide to call it the W Number Podcast for the people that don't know?
So a W number is a number that you have when you go upstate, you get a number. And I've looked at it like this, right? They use that number to subjugate people. And it's almost like a black person, when they were a slave, they called them the N-word, and they embraced it and took it to a whole nother level. So I'm going to embrace the W number, bro. I'm taking it to a whole nother level.
Making it not a derogatory thing.
I'm going to rip it right out of the prison system and make it something positive.
Oh, hey, I appreciate that.
They might have to change the name of that shit. W number. They change it to prison number, P number.
I'm looking forward to seeing, your growth, and it's been amazing seeing your growth since the last time I saw you, and that's why I wanted to bring you back. And I'm sure I'll bring you back again. I mean, on that note, I guess we're going to end it here, man. Thanks again. Guys, this is the Bounce Back Podcast. I am your host, B. Luke. Matty Tottenham right here, the W Number Podcast. Make sure you go subscribe to him. And remember, it is what it is. What's next is what you make it. On that note, we're out of here. Thanks again.
Bounce back, you got a moment when they see you down this